the most obvious is human contact with wild animals, capturing them or killing them for food, capturing them and shipping them to other places, other parts of the world. The international trade in live wild animals for food or for pets or for other purposes.
Surprisingly large. It's like many billions, maybe even tens of billions.
Right, yes. Yeah, it's a huge business.
Huge business.
It's a huge business. And it's hurting biological diversity, it's hurting animals, and it's hurting humans because it offers great opportunity for viruses to go from wild animals into humans and then spread broadly. So that's the way to deal with this. Another element is industrial scale animal husbandry of domestic animals. We have 33 billion chickens on this planet at a given moment.
It's a lot of chickens.
That's a lot of chickens. And in the course of a year, if I remember the numbers correctly, there are about 70 billion chickens alive over the course of a year with turnover, slaughter and new hatchings. And most of those are in big operations, big poultry farms. Those poultry farms are like tinder piled around the base of a wooden building. The wooden building being the human population, the tinder being these places where a spark in the form of a new virus can get into the tinder in the form of 33 billion chickens and set fire to the house.
So if we're genetically modifying chickens for the purposes of sustenance and food, do you think, similar to the back question, we'll ever get to the point where we're genetically modifying their immune system or some sort of vaccine, let's say, that is from the future, that's able to sort of react with more agility to novel viruses?
On a virus-by-virus case basis, yes, or even potentially kinds of viruses, families of viruses, like coronaviruses. That's a family of viruses. The influenzas are part of a family of viruses. We can vaccinate chickens against a virus that we know. We can't vaccinate chickens against a virus that we don't know, as things stand so far.
And you don't think that'll change? That's where I'm curious. It just seems like, from my perspective, so much is happening in the worlds of genetic engineering and in the worlds of cancer research. We can circle back to some of that stuff, and delivery of targeted, nanotechnology, delivering things that fight cancer in that case. But we're in a renaissance, I guess, is what it feels like around synthetic biology.
Yeah.
And there's so much complexity and technological advancement in that space. Feels like it's bubbling. The fundamental science even feels like it's bubbling. Like, our understanding of things is changing with an important discovery here and then an important discovery there. And our understanding of really fundamental things is changing sometimes in a contemporary sense. It's all very exciting. And I guess I'm just wondering the degree to which you think that will change our interaction with viruses, our food systems interaction with viruses, the human enterprise's interaction with viruses.
I certainly agree that we are in a period where science-based medical capacities are exploding. So I'm not going to say this is impossible, that's impossible. Practicable, appropriate, those are different questions. And in a general philosophical sense, I don't think we should count on science and medical science to solve all of the problems created by our own cultural practices, our own population size on the planet, our own desires that we think of as needs. We have to take some responsibility for our culture and not expect science to allow us to do any damn thing that we want because we can create a scientific fix for it.
Because some fix will come, some efficiency will make that better.
Yes. And eventually, to do that, we would have to be reducing some of the things that I love most about this funny little planet, third rock from the sun, that we live on in a minor corner of one particular galaxy, and that is biological diversity.
Yeah.
Wildness, a thing that's hard to describe, as I concede in the introduction to my most recent book, The Heartbeat of the Wild. Wildness is something that I value, that I treasure, and a lot of other people do too. It's hard to define, but it involves biological complexity, biological diversity, ecosystems that are intact. There's a certain amount of unpredictability, also a certain amount of stability built into richly diverse ecosystems.
Diversity breeds resilience.
Yeah. And it's important to say that I don't forget that humans are part of these ecosystems, and humans have been part of these ecosystems for 200,000 years, 300,000 years, however long you want to consider the life span of Homo sapiens as a species. We are part of these ecosystems. I don't say that wildness has to exclude humans. No, wildness has always included humans, but we're getting to the point where humans are excluding wildness because we want everything our way. We want to own everything. We want to consume everything. We want everything to be safe. And that doesn't leave room for wildness.
So in one of your books somewhere, you wrote that on the virus point and the wildness of viruses, and that it's important to have that diversity of viruses. You wrote there's more viruses in the ocean than stars in the observable universe. I thought that was beautiful, and I thought, wow, viruses have an evolutionary benefit. They are sort of like tarot cards, and sometimes they bring good omens and innovations and new biological functions, and sometimes they bring death.